Hello, my name is Crystal, and today I'm going to discuss the issue of rude Starbucks customers during the COVID-19 pandemic and my solutions in more depth than I did in my previous video. I know I said I'd do a PowerPoint, but I changed my mind. Anyway, let's talk about why I feel this is an issue. Rude customers are an issue because they are putting unnecessary stress on the employees and making their jobs much harder than they need to be. It is already difficult for them to be drive-thru only stores because of the waves of people coming through that don't give the employee enough time between cars to give the customers at the window their drinks and allow them to pay, keeping them waiting longer and causing them to get impatient. With the added factor of rude customers, it drains the energy of the employees even more and lowers their efficiency. I have a few examples of this. My first two are from the people I work with. Just before my shift started, two of the partners came to the back to take a breather. I asked what was wrong and they told me two occurrences that happened that day. The first one was of a man trying to order without a vehicle. We advised people not to do that as it can be a safety hazard. They explained to him that they couldn't serve him if he wasn't in a vehicle, and it angered him. He started cursing at one of them and calling her crude names, then promptly called the store and said they had angered the wrong person, saying, "Do you know who I am?" and things like that. The second occurrence was of a man who had mobile ordered. There was a line in front of his car, but he refused to wait his turn, so he got out of his car and walked up to the window while there was still someone paying. He demanded to get his order. The partner working at window told him they had his order, but he'd have to go back to his car and wait. He got angry and cursed at her as well. I felt so bad that they had to go through all that. The last example is from a video on YouTube. It is very similar to the two incidents I described, so I won't go into too much detail with it. To sum it up, the barista taking the woman's orders was continuously getting interrupted, was then called a liar at the window, and the woman drove off with her drinks after paying. 5 minutes later, the woman called to complain and asked to get the partner fired, but was unsuccessful as the employee that answered the call was the barista who had taken the woman's order, and just so happened to be the manager of the store. I just explained the whole story in 17 seconds when the video is 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Oops. If you still want to watch the video even after that explanation, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Now let's talk about my solutions. As I said in the last video, I have two. The first one is asking the customers to be a bit more patient because Starbucks stores are still open only for their pleasure. This does not give them the right to be rude, of course. But like I said before, it is very difficult to change all human behavior. Some customers may be cognizant of the way they treat their partners, but most will not change the way they act. Therefore, I have a second solution. The solution is to close the stores until the pandemic is resolved, much like other stores have done. Of course, there will be many customers who would not agree with this decision, but it's more logical and safer of the two. Closing Starbucks stores would solve the problem because it would allow employees to rest and step away from rude customers, not to mention keep them and customers from harm's way. People may be angry with this outcome because of how popular we are, but Starbucks is not a human necessity. Temporary closing stores will spare employees from unnecessary stress and will be better for everyone's health and safety in the long run. If people want coffee or special drinks like frappuccinos or flat whites, Starbucks or possibly its employees could put out videos showing people how to make their own coffees. It would be cool to see how customers experiment with this. Closing Starbucks stores would be good for everyone's health as we should all be staying inside while the pandemic is still at large. It would give the employees an opportunity to step away from the stressfulness of work and give them the long break they need, and would be a good opportunity for customers to experiment with their coffee at home and save up to buy more toilet paper because apparently we need at least 3 packages to survive this pandemic.
Seriously, who needs that much toilet paper? This is the coronavirus, not the Norwalk virus. Unless you have violent diarrhea, I don't think toilet paper will help in this pandemic.
Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to me ramble on this issue. I hope it was somewhat eye-opening and you think about it the next time you go to Starbucks. If you don't agree with my second solution, try to be nice to the Starbucks employees when you go. It'll really help keep the stressfulness of work to a minimum. And please also wear masks if you go so neither employees nor other customers contract the virus. Okay, so this video is still a minute too short than the required time I was given, so I just want to reiterate the importance of being nice and patient to Starbucks partners so it's easier for you to remember. Their jobs are already stressful enough without having to deal with rude customers, especially with having to work during the pandemic. Make their jobs a little easier by showing them kindness and patience. They'll really appreciate it, especially if they're having a bad day. You don't want your coffee to be decaf, do you? I'm kidding about that. But seriously, be kinder to the employees. Okay, still too short. I guess if you're one of those people who are still going to Starbucks despite the outbreak and you're still watching this, let me give you some drink suggestions. Try the caramel cloud macchiato, but make sure it's iced because the foam at the top lasts longer. Or maybe a frappuccino, but instead of frap roast, ask if they can use nitro cold brew instead. It tastes different, but it's pretty good. Or try sweetened green tea with dragon fruit in it. I used to drink it all the time. Ooh, and a warm brownie with vanilla sugar on top with a hot chocolate. That combination's the best.